Good evening. Welcome to the Professional Portal. We are your hosts, and I'm Trevor Bauer.
And I'm Brianna Deckard. Tonight, we will be discussing qualities of leaders in the world of communication.
What is a leader? Leaders can possess many qualities. However, we believe that there are certain attributes that leaders must have in order to effectively communicate in the field.
We have a special guest that will join us tonight who will give us professional insight into some of the qualities of leaders.
Tonight, we have Dr. Wicks with us.
But first, we feel that it is necessary to address you, the audience, as to what a leader means to us here at Aurora University.
In general, as a leader, what should they have? Should they have the ability to plan, organize, direct, and control? We believe so.
A leader is ethical. They must use their moral judgment pertinent to right and wrong conduct. Ethical leadership encompasses responsibility, respect, and the ability to speak with authority. A great instance of ethical leadership occurred in 1982 with Tylenol. Before seals were required on over-the-counter drugs, someone had placed cyanide in some of the Tylenol bottles in the Chicago area, killing 7 people. Even though the cyanide was thought to be in just that area, Johnson & Johnson decided to pull all bottles off the shelves of everywhere it was sold and test each one. That cost Tylenol around $100 million, but was the right thing to do.
I imagine that helped their reputation recover and their headaches.
You're right. It worked double for them as the right thing to do ethically, as well as the best thing for their company.
In addition to leaders being ethical, they must also be problem solvers. They need to be able to analyze aspects of problems and involve teammate input to make informed decisions. Being a problem solver may also mean being able to deal with difficult situations with team members. A group may experience disagreements, which may be solved in the workplace. Context managers will experience situations in which they need to enforce rules among employees.
A leader also needs to be resourceful. The ever-changing world of communication and technology continues to create new means of getting things done. Leaders need to capitalize on resources available, including technology. Being creative and knowledgeable are also important traits. Leaders need to be able to obtain information necessary to get the job done while doing it in a way that is original. As Trevor stated, they will need to find ways to get teammates to participate and voice their opinions and ideas.
Now that we've reviewed a few important leadership traits, let's look at different ways leadership is applied. One theory to describe leadership in the workplace that is often discussed here at Aurora University is McGregor's X and Y theory.
Douglas McGregor, an American social psychologist, proposed his famous X and Y theory in his 1960 book, The Human Side of Enterprise. Theory X and Theory Y are still discussed and referred to commonly in the field of management and motivation. And while more recent studies have questioned the rigidity of the model, McGregor's XY theory remains a valid basic principle from which to develop positive management style and techniques. McGregor's X and Y theory remains central to organizational development and to improving organizational culture.
McGregor's X and Y theory is a solitary and simple reminder of the natural rules for managing people, which under pressure of day-to-day business are all too easily forgotten.
His ideas suggest that there are 2 fundamental approaches to managing people. Many managers tend towards Theory X and generally get poor results. Other, more enlightened managers use Theory Y, which produces better performance and results and allows people to grow and develop.
These ideas significantly relate to modern understanding of the psychological contract, which provides many ways to appreciate the unhelpful nature of the X theory leadership and the constructive beneficial nature of the Y theory leadership.
Theory X is that the average person dislikes work and will avoid responsibility if he or she can. Therefore, Theory X proposes that most people must be forced with the threat of punishment to get the job done. The average person prefers to be directed to avoid responsibility, is relatively unambitious, and wants security above all else. Managers who view their employees under Theory X tend to use tight control and utilize an authoritarian style. Their leadership is more of a dictatorship, which produces a limited and depressed culture.
In Theory Y, we see effort in work as natural. People will apply self-control and self-direction in the pursuit of organizational objectives without external control of threat or punishment. The employee's commitment to an objective is a function of rewards associated with their achievement. People usually accept and often seek responsibility. The capacity to use a high degree of imagination, ingenuity, and creativity in solving organizational problems is widely distributed in the population. In many industries, the intellectual potential of the average person is only partly utilized.
Managers who use Theory Y are often considered more liberating and inclusive. They look to their employees for their thoughts and decisions to create opportunities to empower them.
Theory Y is obviously preferred, and we consider it true leadership. Our guest, Dr. Pam Wicks, exemplifies these qualities. Let's welcome her to the show. Welcome, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a professor here at Aurora University. I teach communication classes. I graduated from Aurora myself in 1997, and I have 2 children that are going here right now. So,
Do you have any advice for aspiring leaders on how to effectively communicate with their teams?
I think you brought up some very good points in your discussion of the XY theory. If you are controlling, and we've all had bosses like that who micromanage, they just tell you exactly what you have to do, and you feel pigeonholed or unappreciated by being told what to do without them giving you any leeway to offer your own suggestions. So I think a good leader will be receptive to their employees and appreciative of them when they do bring up something. It isn't, I'm the right guy all the time. You have to have an open mind. And I think you get people who are more willing to cooperate when they know that you will listen to them instead of just telling them what to do.
Oh, yeah, I completely agree with that. How do you communicate with a team member who has exhibited unprofessional behavior?
Those are tricky questions because you can't let the behavior go unnoticed. You have to do something, and you have to do something right away. So I find that the best way to deal with that is to actually pull them aside and meet with them on a neutral ground, one-on-one, and ask them what's going on first. Instead of just automatically chastising them or telling them what you think they're doing wrong, ask them why are they doing what they're doing, and maybe there's some reason that we don't know about or you don't know about that's going on in their lives, and there could be that they need some other help in a different way. So first, find out what is going on with them. If they have a problem, then maybe you can get them some help. If it is a personality issue, then you need to explain to them professional behavior. This isn't the way we act around here. You need to treat all fellow employees with respect. And give them another chance. Always give them a second chance, because if there was something or they just didn't quite understand the atmosphere of the corporation, give them a chance to rectify themselves and say, let's try this again. So you're not coming down on them, you're leaving it open to them. Let's do this one more time and see if we can get it right. If it's continued behavior, then you would have to speak to them again, and then perhaps you'd have to say, if this continues, we're going to have to come up with some other ideas on what to do with you in the job. So you're giving them, first of all, an opportunity to explain themselves, because we don't know what's going on in people's lives. Then you're giving them a chance to rectify it if they didn't know what they were doing was inappropriate. And sometimes people just don't understand. If it's continued behavior, that's when you need to say, all right, we need to do something about this situation. It can't go on any longer. If any of the above falls into any realm of harassment, those types of things need to be dealt with immediately, and there are certain steps that you have to follow to rectify those. So that's a different situation, but with either situation, I think you need to talk to them first and either help them or explain what's going to be happening to them.
Right, and that sounds like Theory Y, because it's not assuming that they don't want to pull their weight in the team, but
right.
they
exactly.
That's good. What experiences have you had that helped shape your leadership style?
I think probably the worst experiences are the ones that help the most, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
You know, the boss that made you call every Olson in the Chicago phone book when you made a mistake on someone's charge card receipt when you were 16. Oh, never forgot that guy. You know, but those are the things. So I remember being, you know, dictated to and made to feel foolish for making a slight error when it was a brand new job and I was learning what was going on. So some of the best advice I was given to me once was when you make a big mistake, you won't do that again. So we have to take from our mistakes and learn from them, whether it's the boss that you know, chastised me for making an error, or the boss that said, you know, we can learn from this and move on. Those experiences, don't ever discount them and don't say, oh, you know, that was awful. It wasn't anything I did. Certainly something happened. And take ownership of the fact that something happened at some point in time. I made a mistake with the charge card receipt, so I have to take ownership for that. The way I was treated, that's his ownership. You know that. You know, I don't agree with that, but you have to take some ownership, either in the fact that you didn't understand it, you didn't know it, or perhaps you did something wrong. But I think that helps build stronger relationships too, if they know you're willing to say, okay, that you're right, I messed up. You know, give me another chance, or I'll try again. So I think those are. You have to take the best you can from those bad experiences.
Right. What do you do to motivate team members as a leader?
I think the best way to motivate anyone, whether it's students or employees, is to try to set a playing field where there's not this inappropriate division between the two. You're working for the same company, so we're all in this together. We're all working for the same company. We want it to be profitable, so let's work together towards that goal. Instead of I'm the boss, you're not. You know, that type of dictatorship, I think you called it, is never going to get people motivated. They have to see something that's in it, not necessarily in it for them, but relevant to them. You know, more than just getting a paycheck. If there are certain advancements that can happen, if you do this extra step, or you help this other department, or if there's something that you can contribute in another way, you might see more rewards. You know, see the old, you know, give them something to work for. Will motivate them to try harder. If they don't see a goal, or they feel that their position isn't worthwhile then it's just that paycheck. They'll do the bare minimum and scoot out the door, and that will be that. So no matter what the job is, if you're a cashier or a waitress or the president of a company and has a CEO looking over their shoulder, you know, make them feel that value system so that they are willing to do what they can to be part of that company. Makes you want to help the company grow, makes you want to improve your position and your job, and help the other employees as well.
So incentives are a big thing.
I think incentives, and they don't need to be monetary or prizes. Pride is a very good incentive. Take pride in what you're doing, or if someone says, good job. Sometimes that's all it takes. It doesn't have to be something big, but just recognizing your effort can motivate people so much if they know they're appreciated in the smallest way. And if you do those small things, and they know those, you know, that happens, you're going to get that motivation as well, because they feel valued when they're at work. They feel valued in their position, and even if it's just, you know, that was a great presentation, or you really worked hard on that. Those types of words of encouragement are really beneficial, I believe.
Right, and it sounds like from what you were saying, not just the encouragement or the words, but just knowing to like the overall what they're doing for the bigger picture.
But yes, your contribution matters.
Right.
I mean, everyone's contribution to a company matters in one way or another. How they see that is something that the managers have to take charge of. So they need to see that, even if they're putting that little cog in whatever that is. You know, the machine wouldn't be built if they hadn't done that one piece. You know, like we're all building that machine together. So I think that's a good way to look at it.
So it's been said that once you're finished with school, you continue learning on a daily basis.
Yes.
How would you say that you continue to learn and adapt new leadership skills? Because times change, you can't always be a leader in the same way. So how would you say that your leadership skills change and you learn new things?
I think you need to be open to learning new things, open to new technology, open to new structures in the company. And don't wait for them to say, okay, you need to learn this. Take it out, take ownership of that yourself, and look for other ways to improve yourself. As an educator, we are always reading more and finding out more information. And if we don't do that, then we become static and the students aren't going to be as excited. The same with a corporation. If you are always looking for other ways to improve your job, improve your skills, learn a different way to do something, it's people that say, oh no, I've done it this way for 20 years, I'm not changing. Number one, their company won't grow. Number two, what respect will they get from the employees if they just say, no, this is the way it's got to be? So your motivation's going to fall off, their desire to even bring in their own voice. Well, if you're just going to do it the same way, what's the point of me even thinking of a new way to do it? If you, on the other hand, are always learning and investigating new ways, you never know what's going to work and what's going to fail. But if you don't try it, it all fails, right?
That's
so you
true.
have to just try it and
Right.
see what happens. If you're restructuring the way the offices run, or if you're restructuring someone's duties, oh, this isn't working so well. Let's try something new and see if that works better. That's an element of growth that everyone needs, no matter what your job is. You should always, always, always learn, because there's so much to be had and so many benefits to you by that open mind.
How do you feel that leaders build their own reputation and character? Are there certain ways they do that?
As a mother as well, I've always, been taught my children, they're going to learn better by what I do than what I say. You can talk and talk and talk and talk, but if you tell someone, it's unethical to do that, and then you turn around and do that, your respect is gone. So you have to practice what you preach. You have to set that standard, and if you are ethical and professional and motivated, they will follow suit as well. So I think the greatest way we can teach anyone is just by doing it ourselves, because modeling is a good educational strategy, and it's an effective way. You can't expect people to do something you're not willing to do yourself, or to hold a standard that you are not willing to uphold yourself. So I think that's the best way to do it, is have them see that you cherish these different attributes, and they'll come to respect that as well.
So as the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, as a mother, I could talk, and it won't do anything. But as soon as I take away that television set, but as soon as you do, whatever you do is going to be watched. And sometimes we don't even realize we're picking up on those tidbits. We don't understand until you turn in and I'll say something, and I'll be like, that's what somebody just said to me. So we don't even know that we're absorbing that. And if we think in those terms, that everything we're doing can be seen by others and learned by them, that kind of makes us say, okay, I better hold myself to a little bit of a higher standard, because we absorb everything whether we are conscious of it or not.
Do you think that there are specific qualities that help someone rise to a leadership position?
I think there's some very specific qualities you need to have. Number one, strength of character. You have to believe in yourself, and know that you can do it. I think you have to have a sense of adventure, if you will, that willingness to try something out. And key is to that, I believe, too, is accept failure. If it doesn't go right, just say, whoops, that didn't work. Let's try something else. So you have to have the confidence, I think, to say, all right, we're going to try this. We're going to do this. I have the strength of character. I'm educated. I've informed myself. I know what I'm doing correctly. But also to be able to say, well, that really didn't work, and let's try something else. So you have to admit your successes and your defeats, and just be honest with yourself and those people you're dealing with.
How do you think that you ensure that you don't repeat your own mistakes, if that's even possible?
Oh, well, like the biggest ones are the ones you won't repeat because you won't forget.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think we can 100% avoid repeating it. If we might make the same mistake again. It's when we don't learn from that mistake.
Yes.
That's the real detriment. If you do it and you might repeat it again, I wasn't going to do it that way. But okay, I'll change. It's when you continue to make the same mistake. You're like, that didn't work, but I'm not going to try anything else because that's just the best thing I can do, or that's all I want. That's all the effort I want to put into it. Nothing's ever going to change and get any better. So you just have to, keep plugging, keep pushing forward, and always trying to make sure that mistake provided you with a learning opportunity to improve yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody makes mistakes. Everybody makes mistakes, big ones and small ones. But learn from that and don't say, oh, I'm not going to try anything out because I made a big mistake. To say, be open to falling. We have to be willing to fail and fall
Yeah.
down before we can pick ourselves up and move on. So, and it's really hard. It's not easy to say, you know, that was really a big mistake and I made that. It's very hard to do. But if you do that, people will respect you for having the courage to come up and say, yeah, that was a mistake.
Uh-huh.
And then maybe you won't make it again in the future.
Yeah. Sometimes we see big falls by leaders too. Like a current example would be Lance Armstrong, his fall from leadership.
Yes.
So in situations like that, how do you feel it's possible to redeem yourself?
For him to redeem himself?
I guess his case is a little different because he
Yeah.
tried to cover it up, and maybe that's where
Exactly.
he went wrong.
Exactly. If he had admitted it up front, and maybe I think he would have garnered or kept a little respect.
Right.
But the fact that he kept denying it over and over again until something happened catastrophic that he couldn't deny it anymore. You can't come back from that.
That's one of the characteristics.
It's harder to, yes.
You were saying
Yes.
character is
Yes.
very important.
Character is very important, and he has so many people following him, and so
Mhm.
many kids looking up to him, and perhaps that's why he kept it going. But you know, I mean, keep trying. Even, you know, try to gain that respect again. People won't forget, but eventually someone else will take the spotlight, and what you did will be pushed to the back, and just keep going.
All right, well, we want to thank Dr. Wicks for joining us tonight. We really learned a lot and feel like we have a deeper understanding of leadership qualities.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Professional Porthole.
Until next time, I'm Trevor Bauer.
And I'm Brianna Deckard.
Thank you.